Roberta, at last week's governor's debate, we saw what some are calling the new Republican populism.
Political analyst Melissa Griffin Caen explains what that is. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. So as you know, I don't know if you saw it because it was opening night of football, but there was a governor's debate last Thursday between the candidates for governor of our great state. We had the current governor, Jerry Brown, a Democrat, versus the Republican candidate, Neel Kashkari. And guess which candidate brought up poverty over and over again? Can you guess?
Kashkari.
Kashkari. Oh, you guys, what? You're cheating. In fact, we have a mashup of just some of his statements to show you.
16% of Californians either have no job today or stuck in a part-time job. 24% poverty today. We're number one in poverty, and we're number one in poverty.
He really worked it into every answer.
Right. He kept saying it. So are we number one in poverty?
Well, technically, actually, yes. Based on one particular measure of the U.S. Census Bureau. According to the Bureau, if you look at the official national poverty line and you adjust it up to account for how expensive it is to live in California, 24% of our state's population is below that adjusted poverty line, and that does make us number one in poverty in the nation.
You know, this sounds to me like something that the Democrats would be taking on.
Right. You would think that the Democrats would be talking about jobs and the Republicans, you wouldn't necessarily think that the Democrat, Jerry Brown, would be talking so much about jobs and that the Republican would be talking so much about poverty.
So why is Kashkari taking it on?
Well, so Kashkari's a unique fella anyway, but here's the thing. Back in 2012, after the loss of the presidential election, the National Republican Party commissioned a study on what they were doing wrong and how to fix it. And one thing that study found was that people perceived the GOP as being uncaring about the plight of the poor. So we have an acknowledgement by the party that there's an issue, and we're seeing Republicans like Kashkari and even Paul Ryan talking more about people in poverty and the party's plans to help. One New York Times columnist recently called it the new Republican populism, and we will probably be seeing a lot more of it. In the meantime, the issue of inequality is still tricky for some people. Recently, a Republican candidate for supervisor in San Luis Obispo County sent out invitations to a fundraiser where people will be served hobo stew, and as you can see there, hobo attire is required. So baby steps.
Well, let me ask you really quickly. Is Jerry Brown completely safe in the job?
Yes.
Okay.
You think so?
Sorry. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's interesting to get your perspective. Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.
Okay.